Have you ever had that insanely frustrating feeling of like, I'm doing all the things, I cannot understand why I'm not losing the weight? Well, today I'm going to talk to you about 6 reasons why your ass isn't losing the weight, even though you feel like you're doing all the right things. And these are 6 things that nobody else is going to tell you, not your doctor or your PT or not the friggin' influencer with the smoothie and the 6-pack. None of those people are going to talk about this because it's got nothing to do with food. So if you've ever sat there thinking, yes, sis, I know what to do, I just struggle to do it consistently, or I struggle to do it, well, at all, it's okay. I'm about to show you this was never a knowledge problem. This, in fact, is an identity problem. What is up, you gorgeous, fabulous creatures, and welcome to the Losing It podcast. I am your host, Kylie Pax, and today we are talking about 6 fabulous reasons. They're not fabulous at all. They're 6 fucked up reasons why you're not losing weight, and they've got absolutely nothing to do with food. The beauty is that once you know this information, you can't unknow it, and it's going to be the thing that changes your life. Now, before we dive in, as always, if you are loving what you're hearing and you want to hear more, if you've recently discovered me and you want to share me with a bestie, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button or share this to your stories. I will be ever so grateful, because that is how we are going to spread the message. Now, we're going to start today with a little reality check, because if you are here and you're with me and you're listening to me, I can already tell you know more about nutrition than 90% of the population. You know vegetables are good. McDonald's 3 times a day is probably not your wisest move. We all know how much water we should be drinking. So if information was the missing piece to this puzzle, girl, you would already be at your goal weight, but you're not, are you? Which means information couldn't possibly be the problem. So there you are, sitting every night with your ass scrolling on Instagram, looking for more and more information, getting fucking confused, not knowing which way is up or down, which diet should you be following. And the whole time, the problem is what you do with the information that you know. Not what it is that you know, but what you are choosing to do with that information. And that's what we are unpacking today. You are right now living the life that your habits created. And today we're going to be auditing 6 of those. So let's start at the beginning, honey, with reason number 1. You haven't gone all in, because why the hell should you bother if it's probably not going to work anyway? Now, I want you to be very honest with me for a second, because I already know this picture. One day you're at the gym and you're eating the lettuce leaves and feeling like an absolute legend. And then the next day you're doing a Macca's run for breakfast, lunch, and probably dinner as well. Am I right? Girl, this is not a discipline problem. This is a 99% woman problem. What do I mean by that? The 99% woman is the one who sits around waiting to feel motivated before she actually does something, before she commits to something. She goes all in to things and she feels really inspired, and then she jumps ship every freaking time. It gets a little bit hard, a little bit uncomfortable. Oh, you mean I can't eat until I need my stretchy pants every night? Well, no, sis, you can't. Not if you want the life, the body, the bank account of your dreams, because some part of you is already decided way back there in your subconscious that this shit probably isn't going to work anyway. So why should you suffer for nothing? Now, that is one side of your brain. Here's the 1% woman. Here's what she does differently. She's not sitting around waiting to feel ready. She's following her plan, not her mood. You know how I rabbit on and on about the eating codes. I have got 4 eating codes and they are freaking fire. Eating code number 1 is you eat when you're hungry and you don't eat when you're not. That is going to solve about 90% of all of your weight loss issues right there. Stop eating when you're not damn well hungry. The second eating code is, what is the second? The second eating code is when you do eat, you stop eating at 80% full. Stretchy pants do not have a place in your wardrobe anymore. The third eating code is to follow your plan and not your mood. And the 4th and final eating code is to act like the woman that you want to become. Now, the 1% woman, she follows her plan, not her mood. And that is the difference between a woman who is perpetually starting over and the woman who, well, she just isn't anymore, because she's consistent as fire. Now, here's a question I want you to actually sit with today. If somebody else had your habits, and this is something that I ask my private clients all the time, honey, all the time. If you were looking at somebody else in your workplace, in your household, we've all done this before. If somebody else had your habits, would you actually believe they were serious about their goals, or would you think they were full of shit? And I want you to be honest. Look at the evidence, not your intention. Don't come at me with things like, but Kylie, I totally intend to start the gym next week, next month, or when my previous membership runs out, then I'll probably renew and go again. No? What kind of BS is that? The all or nothing swing that you're currently on isn't a sign that you're trying too hard. It's a sign that you were never actually in at all. You were just kind of dipping your toe in, and then you were hoping like that what you were doing would pay off quick enough for you to see results, to get motivated so that you could stay consistent. And when that is your attitude, you are either going to pay the price of evolving or you will pay the price of staying the same. But there is no version where you pay neither. There is a cost involved either way. Get it through your head. Reason 2 is because you're not actually doing anything at all to prove to your brain that you're serious this time. Now, I know this one stings a little, so you better put on your big girl pants. You think about losing weight. You're out there, you're talking about losing weight. You've probably told 3 different friends today, this is finally the time. I'm really going to get doing with it this time. Get doing. What is that? You're going to get going and you're really going to do it. But when we look at the actual days that you are spending staying consistent with this, there's no evidence. Show me the evidence. Where is the evidence? There isn't any. Thinking about doing it isn't doing it. Talking about doing it isn't doing it. You know what is actually doing it? Doing it. There is decades of research out of, I think it was Stanford University, on something that they called self-efficacy, which basically means it's your belief in your own ability to pull something off, to be able to do something. Psychologists have found that the single biggest driver of your own personal self-belief isn't having somebody else rabbiting in your ear telling you that you can do it. It's not a pep talk. You sitting around listening to Tony Robbins videos isn't going to be helpful. If you're not taking the action straight after you listen to his videos, probably if you're from my era, you're watching them on VHS, honey, then nothing is going to come from it. You actually have to do the thing to believe that you are capable of doing the thing. Your brain believes evidence, not affirmations. You can stand there in the mirror all day. Listen, I'm a huge fan of Louise Hay. Huge. She was my introduction into the self-help world. She was the queen of affirmations. She was the godmother. I was the one watching everything that she had, reading every book that she wrote. I was writing my affirmations on cards and sticking them on the mirror. It's great. But honey, you can repeat, I'm a healthy person in the mirror all day long. But unless your actual days contain proof of that, your brain is not going to buy it. Self-belief isn't something that you get to talk yourself into. It's something that you build by stacking receipts one tiny micro win at a time. And every decision that you make, whether it's yesterday, today, or tomorrow, is going to be a tiny micro vote for either the woman that you do want to be or the woman that you do not want to be. And right now, you have collected more receipts in the column of this is the woman that my ass does not want to be anymore. And yet you're stacking evidence every day into that column that you are still that woman. This is why it always comes back to the same question. Who are you becoming? I don't care what you eat. I don't even want to know what your macros are. My first question is, show me your habit list. Show me what you're doing every day. Show me how consistent you are with the promises you keep to yourself. I don't want to hear who you intend to be next week. I want to know what is today's version of you doing to prove that you can be the woman that you say you want to be next week. Reason number 3 is your bargaining skills. You are so good all week and you run feral on the weekend. Oh girl, this one is a classic. You're sitting there and you're eating your salad and cheese sticks or something Monday to Friday like you're training for some kind of restriction Olympics, and then on the weekend, in it comes the wine, the pizza, and your lame promises. It's completely unhinged. Here's what's actually happening. You right now are treating food as a reward and punishment system instead of, well, just food. It's food, people. And that bargain that you're consistently making with yourself, it's not actually a bargain. It's not a deal. What you are doing is creating a loophole. The woman who needs a loophole has already decided that her plan is not sustainable. You're just not admitting it to yourself yet. That is a ratchet system and nobody is going to adhere to that. Now, I saw a study recently which caught my attention because it was to do with cookies. Who doesn't want to be involved in a study that has to do with cookies? They had split a bunch of people into 2 groups. One group got to eat these fresh baked cookies when they were straight out the oven, and the second group was told not to eat the cookies, but to eat radishes instead. I mean, of all things, this radish study. Give me anything else. Oh, geez, about anything else but radishes. Now, surprisingly, shockingly, we're so shocked. The radish group gave up in about half the time. What this researchers call this decision fatigue, basically. The idea that they had to sit there resisting and restraining for however long they sat there for is exhausting and draining for your brain and your emotional currency. So think about it. You know exactly what this is like. You may not have had a cookie radish situation, but you know what it's like. When you're sitting there watching TV at 8 p.m. every night, you've had your dinner, you know you don't need any more food, but somebody comes in with chocolate or free donuts they got from work, or you just know that there's some chips in the cupboard and you're like, I shouldn't eat those. I totally shouldn't eat those chips. I don't need those chips. I really need to lose weight. In the end, you end up eating the chips, not because you even want the freaking chips, but to shut the conversation down in your head. That's where the exhaustion comes from. And it's a really predictable result of a system that was never built to last more than a few days or a few hours, let alone for you to live that way forever. When you're consistently falling into these patterns and you find that the upward trend on the scale is just still ripping out your soul every day, that's not bad luck. That's not you having a lack of capability to restrain yourself from chips. It's the mathematics of what you've been doing, and what you've been doing is not sustainable. The scale is a lagging indicator of your success. This is why when women get so caught up and fearful of the bathroom scale, I'm like, it really doesn't matter. It's not even relevant at the point that you get on there. It's only an indicator of your previous actions. It's not that important anymore. What's more important is the decisions you're choosing to carry out today. Your decisions are a leading indicator of your success. So the scale is a lagging indicator. Your decisions are a leading indicator, because by the time the scale moves, the real story has already happened like 3 weeks ago in 100 micro choices that you weren't even tracking. The results that you're about to get over the next 2-3 weeks are led by the decisions that you make today. Reason 4 is you're tired, and you've done this so many times before, you're wondering if you've even got it in you to give it another crack. Now, this one is a little heavy, because if you've tried this before, probably more than once is enough for us to be scarred down to our soul. And some part of you is exhausted from putting yourself through this so many times over your life. You're sitting there thinking, I don't even know if I've got it in me to try this one more time. That exhaustion that you're feeling isn't proof that you're not capable. It's proof that you've been doing this in a way that exhausts people. Honestly, come on, people, get it together. When you're constantly trying to white knuckle your way through things, or rely on motivation, or trying to muster up the willpower to do things in a way that feels like absolute shit, that is not a willpower problem. You're not your thoughts, but you are the one that is choosing to act on them or not. We can't control the thoughts. What pops into your head, like I feel like doing this, I don't feel like doing that, completely out of your control, honey. But you do have full autonomy over whether you choose to act on them or not. So thinking, have I even got this in me? I don't know if I can be fucked. Like all of those thoughts that we have, just a thought. It's not a verdict on your abilities. You get to decide whether it runs your next decision or whether you choose differently. The woman who finally gets there is not going to be the woman with the most motivation. That is not the case. She's going to be the woman who decided to become that person who follows through, her highest, hottest, most fabulous version of self, and follows through regardless of how motivated she feels. Motivation's not some kind of personality trait that lucky people are born with. It's an identity that you build one micro choice at a time. You don't need any more hype. What you need is a different operating system. Reason 5 is that you do it when you feel like it and you skip it when you don't. This could potentially be the most important one on the list. Girl, if your actions are still being dictated by your feelings, then your results, of course, will always be inconsistent, because our feelings are inconsistent. Your feelings are inconsistent by design. You weren't built to feel motivated or hyped up or be your own hype girl every single day. Nobody is. The people who have studied habit formation know that when you repeat something in the same context over and over and over again, it gradually stops needing any conscious effort or thought at all, because it becomes automatic. Your subconscious brain says, right, well, brushing her teeth every day is something that she seems to be doing. It must be important because she continues to do it. So I'll just pop that away there in the subconscious so that she doesn't have to put any conscious effort into when, why, and how to do this every day. That is a great thing, because the less decisions you have to make every day, then the less decision fatigue you will fall into the trap of, and the easier everything else in your life will be. Now, that's fantastic when it comes to driving your car, brushing your teeth, putting your knickers on every day. Not so great when it comes to you binging on chocolate every night. The most important takeaway here, though, is to remember that nobody is sabotaging themselves randomly. If there was no logical solution for what we were doing, then trying to even solve it would be insane. You sabotage yourself only after a conversation that you have in your own head. The one where you talk yourself out of it 30 seconds before you would have just walked away and let it be. But the 1% woman isn't the woman who always feels like showing up. She's the woman who shows up regardless of how she feels. Your feelings are data. They are not instructions. You can feel like skipping your plan that day, but you can still do it. Both things can be true. Listen, you can feel like bashing your partner's head in with a frying pan when they piss you off, but you can still not do it. You do have self-restraint. And this is the entire gap between the woman who is still starting over 12 months later and the woman who has already done it. And finally, here we are with the classic, I will start on Monday, or I'll start after the holiday, or when the kids go back to school, when my job calms down, all of it. Honey, please, life is not gonna calm down. There will never be a perfect, stress-free, fully available version of your week that you can just log into and get all your diet dreams come true. That is an urban diet myth. Don't sit around telling people I'm just a procrastinator. I'm a person who procrastinates. No, you're not. It's a pattern that you're running, but it's not who you are. Every single time you delay, every single time you're putting it off, just one more day, just one more hour, it's another pattern that you're going to need to fix later on. Girl, you're either going to be progressing or you're going to be regressing. There's no neutral. You thinking that you're delaying something isn't hitting the pause button. Delaying is still a decision, and it's one that benefits the exact version of you that you're trying so desperately to leave behind. So let's do a little recap, shall we? None of the 6 things that we talked about today were ever about food. Not one. Not one. They were all about identity. And whether you decide to match your daily decisions with the woman that you say you want to become or the woman that you're trying to escape is going to be entirely up to you. Goals are what you want, but systems are how you get there. And you don't need more rules in your life. What you actually need is to stop being the woman who negotiates her way out of her dream life and body at 8 p.m. every night. Now, whether you know me or whether you are brand new to the podcast, you will know this is exactly why I built the Bombshell Blueprint, because you don't need more willpower. What you need is a simple operating system that takes the decision fatigue out of your life so that showing up is no longer dependent on how you feel that day. So sis, if even one of the 6 things that we talked about today has you going rogue and thinking, oh my God, that's me, I know she's talking about me, I want you to do something with it. Don't just sit there nodding along and then close the app. Pick the one that stung the most and ask yourself, all right, what would the 1% version of me do differently this week? That 1% woman who is elite, who is transfixed on achieving her goals and doesn't let anything get in the way. And of course, if you're ready for the structure that actually makes this all stick, then scroll your little fingers down to the link in the caption and join us inside of the Bombshell Blueprint. I promise you, you are not lazy and you are not broken. You've just been using the wrong system. Thank you so much for joining me here today. As always, if this episode called you out in the very best way, please share it with a woman who needs to hear it today. Remember to hit subscribe or come find me over on Insta. And as always, the only person who has the power to change your life is you. When you step up and start acting like that 1% version of you, focus a little more on who you're being as well. Listen, you can focus on it as well as what you're doing. What you're doing is equally important, but who you decide to be is ultimately what dictates what you do. And when you step up that mindset, that's when you've got what it takes. I'm sending you love. I can't wait to see you again next week. Oh my God, how could I forget to tell you? We're coming in hot twice a week now. Girl, I know that time is your greatest currency, which is why I'm trying to front load your weeks, and we're coming in twice a week. So you will find us, if you are down here in the magical land of Oz, you will find me coming in hot twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We need to get our minds right early in the game, and then we need someone to hold us accountable as the week wears on. And sis is starting to get tired. It's okay. I got you, sis. Don't worry about it. I'll see you all again next week. Until then, gorgeous ones, bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to shimmy your butt over to kyliepax.com and join me inside of the Bombshell Blueprint so you can stop emotional eating and start losing your way now. You'll also find helpful notes and resources inside my past podcasts that will help you lose your weight without losing your sanity. I will see you next week.